Welcome to the Salt Circle Podcast. My name is Hank. With me is, darling Ben.
Hey, I really thought you were going to go for that obnoxious co-host.
A really trustworthy guy.
A really
Most trustworthy.
Yeah. Doing Urusei Yatsura, baby, finally.
Yeah, we're talking about the manga. The 34 volumes of manga. Of gag manga. So many bits.
Dude. And for once, I'm in the position of having read it a while back and not being as fresh on it. And Hank just finished because he's a fake fan.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's what it is. So,
also, I'll have you know, I almost always refresh myself right before we record anyway.
My refresh has been I'm watching the original anime. It's impossible to refresh yourself, though, in this kind of thing. I mean, I guess if I skimmed, like, everything again, but, like...
Oh, you just mean how big it is? Sure.
The stories that I like, I remember, like, super well, but then there's, like, there's just so much, and it's so much one-off stuff, you know?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna remember that fucking beauty contest.
Oh, dude, that's an all-timer. Yeah, you're gonna remember that one. Or, like, I remember the one that sticks out for me, maybe because it was, like, the one where I'm like, this is actually fucking, like, super incredible, was where they're being quiet during class. He says, like, no talking or everybody gets detention or whatever. Or they have to, like, come in on the weekend, and then they don't talk, and, like, Ten's doing that shit. There's, like, a hand grenade, and then he just holds up that sign, and, like, on I forget the teacher's actual name. Because they just call him Osen. Onsen? The hot spring thing?
Hot Springs.
Yeah, hot springs. Yeah, sure.
That's his name.
Like, he's just crying. He's like, he's so dedicated to the class. He's like fucking crying and shit. Stuff's exploding. I'm like, this is just well done. Like, this is getting me. They're like being all dramatic and shit. Ugh. Yeah. So you like I went ham, but like you still sparked it because you watched the 2022 remake of Urusei Yatsura. And you were real into it.
Yeah. Well, I had read the first couple chapters, maybe, of the manga already.
Okay.
Before that was announced. Just in my, like, perusing old manga I might want to check out.
Yeah.
And Urusei Yatsura had kind of just been, you know, simmering in the back of my brain. Because it just wasn't the thing I want. Reading that manga chapter just wasn't the thing I wanted in that moment.
Yeah.
But then the new anime got announced, and just watching the opening for that, and I was like, oh, this is fucking amazing. I'm 100% watching this. This is fucking beautiful.
Yeah, you were like super hyped just on that opening.
So I got super into that show. I don't remember. I feel like it's just that you went ham on the manga was what brought me back to reading the full manga.
That makes sense. Yeah, because you would mention. I mean, you were like talking it up and you linked stuff, and I like checked out the opening, and it didn't like super. It didn't anti-hit. I mean, it got me a little interested. I forget what actually like sparked it, or if I was like, yeah, this is a thing I want to do because like Hank is super hype on it. The concept sounds like fairly. I wouldn't even like at the time. I don't even know if initially I would have even thought it was like good, but like interesting enough to check out or whatever. I don't know.
Sure,
but I'm like, this is like the remake and stuff. Like, I don't know if I'd only want to do the remake. Do I want to do the manga? And then, actually, you know what? I probably do know what what launched it, because we did Mermaid Saga.
We did Mermaid.
We did
Mermaid Saga was a big
is probably what
was a
did
big
it.
thing, because that was the entry point for Rumiko Takahashi manga that I found.
Yeah.
Because that's
So, you
only
know what?
3 volumes.
That's what did it. That is 100% what did it. And I'm like, oh, this is like sick. I'm like, oh, she also did this thing that Hank has been talking about. I guess I'll check out the manga. And I knew that wasn't going to be like horror or anything like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it was I was trying to look up when I actually started reading it, because I read the entire fucking thing in 2 weeks. And I was wondering if that was like a period when Anya was gone. Because there was, like, if she went to Russia and I just sat here like a fucking degenerate and did nothing else. And even if she wasn't gone, like, that's all I did in my free time.
Yeah, I kind of find it unbelievable you did it all in 2 weeks. Having gone pretty fucking hard in reading it, like, goddamn.
Yeah, I did like nothing else. It might have been like 2.5 or 3, but even so, yeah, it was just like a right place, right time thing. That shit hit, like, it connected, and it just kept connecting. I'm like, this is fucking great. And the only time I like wavered was when we get Ryu and her dad, and I'm like, this is gonna be a problem. And then she beats the shit out of him. I'm like, nah, I guess we're fine. Like, it's not ideal, but like, she is kicking his ass. So that was like the only thing. I mean, there's some other like dated shit, but nothing that's so terribly reoccurring, I think. So
also, I'm remembering some stuff about me getting into it, because I was watching the new show, then I watched all the movies.
You did watch the movies,
I think it was after the movies that I was like, I'm buying this entire manga run. I love this series. Yeah. I think that's when I made that call. Because I definitely bought the entire manga really before I started digging into reading it.
Yeah, that tracks.
Because I was just like, I'd seen enough that I was like, oh no, I love this. Yeah. Like, I deeply love this.
Yeah, it's just really well done. And I don't know, man. It's just fucking,
and
nice.
Like the stories, the stories that do it are, which I like. I didn't experience the manga first, but obviously they come right from the manga. Are, when Itaru gets the love letter from the fake made up person that then Love steps in for their date, when he like Hulk grabs her hand at the end.
Oh hell yeah,
that story fucking hits, and then the ending.
Oh dude,
which is one of the, which is like the 5th movie or whatever.
I was so reading this, I'm like, I know this comes to an end, but this has been like 34 volumes of gag manga. I have no idea. I'm like, what the hell what are they gonna do for the end? Are they gonna do like a big? Are they gonna kind of like soften Itaru's character a bit as we get here, like to get to that conclusion? Like, are they? What the fuck are we gonna do? The ending was so perfect. Like, it's like, I'm not gonna ever tell you I love you for forever. Wait, forever? Like, that shit is just so good. It made me so happy. Like that they like, she did it. She fucking kept the characterization, but like. Had the last big, like, yeah, like, he loves her, which we see throughout the entire thing, but
yeah, like once they have, honestly, in the manga, once that first story with when he stops her, like, it kind of changes, like, the understanding is there that he loves her, and the manga like doesn't focus on that stuff as much.
Yeah.
Like, it becomes much more about the whole cast of characters and stuff.
And
I would say,
I mean, for me, like the times when we get those are like the gems, though, you know.
Sure.
Like him fucking when she has to renew her Earth passport or whatever, and then she's like gone, and he's like crying or whatever. When her translator breaks.
Yeah.
Like, there's just so many. I mean, not like a ton
She
percentage wise.
she comes tiny.
Oh,
Tiny bottle.
Yeah, yeah. We also get like a fair, again, like enough to make me happy. Like I would like more, but like enough to make me happy. Certainly, of like little moments. Like there's definitely just a few times where like the intro to a story or like midway through one of the stories or something is like they were actually just hanging out like normally, and nobody had to be miserable about it. Like they were just doing something. Or
Sure.
what was that? What was the moment I was gonna mention? I forgot the exact moment I was gonna mention, but there's one little bit where like I can't even remember what story it is, but like they're sitting, maybe it's like a beach episode or something, and like Lum starts like giving him like a shoulder rub, like she's digging her elbow into his shoulder, and he's like, oh yeah, like whatever. And then after they like give it a couple panels, he's like, wait, stop that shit. And it's right back to it. But like those little moments where it's just like, yeah, okay, like they're fine.
Yeah, and like the thing with getting into the series is like the feeling that what it is at the beginning of the manga is not what it becomes, right?
Yeah.
Like that was sort of the, because like Lum isn't even in the second story.
Yeah. No, like the fact
like
that
Lum is just there to be a one-off, and then
everybody lost
goes
their
away, and then like,
fucking
oh wait, Lum was the reason the first chapter was good.
Yeah.
And like as it moves away, and then making Lum a character who gets jealous, which is like not in that early stuff at all either.
Yeah.
Because it's about Shinobu being mad at him.
Yeah, and then like the early stuff having that kind of like he's still trying to be with Shinobu, and then that eventually just gets completely abandoned for the better.
Yes. And like Lum like enrolling in their high school, and then it becomes much more of a high school.
Oh God,
drama story.
It gets so good when she enrolls in the high school, because then she's just there all the time.
And like her being like the best, she's like she provides the Spider-Man thing of like just every panel is more interesting with her in it because she can be in like she's just floating in the air.
Yeah.
Like it just visually makes every panel better.
Or just like doing
like that she's the interesting element.
Yeah. She's just doing her thing in the background or whatever sometimes. It is just great. Man, there's a couple of bits that they like, I don't even know what the exact purpose is, but just like her being, I think it's when that other teacher comes in for a little bit, who's like all about the fire of youth and shit, and he's just going so ham on it, and he, okay, one sec, well, I'll edit this out. What was I saying?
I don't know.
Oh, one of the substitute teachers there, and there's like a bit, because she's floating all the time, right? And then she's in a like her school uniform, and they do a bit where like all the guys are looking up her uniform, and they're like fucking losing their minds, and then it's like she's just wearing her normal clothes under it.
Yeah.
Like just, I don't know. I don't know what the phrase I'm looking for is, but like I can't think of the fucking phrase. It's a media term. It's not subverting expectations. Something. I don't know. Her doing her shit is great. was the roundabout point I was coming to before interruptions. Anyway. Yeah. Sorry, I got completely just decimated everything. Yeah. So the beauty contest is your favorite story?
That's the one that got me the most hype.
Okay.
I would say. Like so part of the way I was like reading this was like, particularly in the latter half, was seeing like all the elements that then become part of Ranma. Like
Oh
just the
yeah.
shit that she liked, she was interested in, and like the like bits that she liked, the things that she liked doing that like carried forward, and like making it, the stuff of it being more action focused with like fighting and stuff just made me think of, because Ranma becomes much more about fighting focused
Yeah.
or whatever. But then also just stuff like Kotatsu Kitty is just like
Oh hell yeah, dude.
Ranma's dad is like just turning into a panda, I think. Constant. It's just like that same bit of just this large animal.
Yeah.
Because I love later where she's just like just a random panel of Kotatsu Kitty, just because it's fun to draw.
Yeah, man.
Set the mood. Smoking a pipe or whatever.
Oh god, yeah, him like lighting up. Hell yeah. That shit's great.
And like the whole dynamic between Ryunosuke and her dad, like a lot of that carries into Ranma. Having read like the very beginning of Ranma.
Gotcha.
Like that's just like evident of like this kid and parental figure that they're just fighting.
I also read like the first chapter, probably volume, I guess, given the time frame. Like the first volume of Ranma half.
Mm-hmm.
That was for different reasons, though. That was the first time I ever saw like a titty in print. That my friend was reading it, and because we rode the bus together, and she was reading this just like on the bus. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And I was like we were pretty fucking young, like under 10 or under something. I was young enough that I'm like, this entices me, but I didn't know what to do with that information. So I ended up borrowing it from her, and I read the thing, and it wasn't like smut, obviously. So that was like disappointing, but at the time I didn't really know why. But like it was fine. Like I liked it, but not enough to like continue or whatever.
Sure.
I just thought that was wild. Like, there's just fucking what? You can do this? You can print this?
You could just have a little nudity. That's not.
You just got this from the library? They let you walk out with it? As if the fucking 80-year-old librarian like would know it all what it is.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't remember like fucking anything of it except like the general, like I know the concept, and like I mean that panel is burned in my brain.
Because and like the other big one is we get one of the later stories is like this hot spring that turns you into an animal. Like that is literally the Ranma thing.
Yeah.
So there was some of that. Just seeing what like her interested her going forward or whatever after this series, because this series can kind of just be whatever it wants to be in the moment.
Oh, dude.
One of the things that's good about it is like you kind of can do like it's always gonna be goofy, but it can be whatever.
Yeah.
There are no limits.
Yeah, and you can always like. There's no limits, and also you can like if something is like, oh, we did this and like, it was fine. You can just leave it in the dust, or if it's amazing, you can just like loop back a couple of times. Like Sakura eating.
The characters have their bits, and then they get additional bits.
Oh, I will
stacking
say,
bits on bits.
Yeah. Man,
like Mendo getting trapped in a bell, and then he learns to break out of it.
It's dark.
It's cramped. It's dark. I'm scared.
Dude,
but then eventually he gets his super strength where he can break out of a bell out of terror.
Yeah, the fucking panel of Ataru like looking in the jar and he's fucking terrified. I'm like, oh, this is like the little bit of horror shit coming in. I see. Like, just hyper.
I think that's.
Shit was so good. I was dying. Poor little Mendo's just like trapped in this shit. Like, we're gonna cure him. Traumatized.
Pretty fucking good.
Do you have a least favorite? Like, do you have a least favorite? I'll say like mainstay character. Side to like B characters as well. Like obviously you have Lum, Mendo, Ataru, but then like I constantly forget the dude's name, like baseball guy and his sister and stuff. Mendo's sister, Cherry, all those peeps.
I mean, mostly it's like getting fed up with Ryunosuke's dad or Ataru.
I meant like a good.
Sometimes.
I meant like a decent character, not a piece of shit. But okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
See, like, yeah, I don't like Rya's dad, obviously, but at least he's usually not on his own, and we just get Ryu also, so that tempers it a little. But like, for example, I don't really like the stuff with baseball guy, like Mendo's rival or whatever. I don't know. It's not that it's bad, but like they didn't hit quite as much as some of the other stuff.
I think it's funny when they introduce. I just think like when they introduce his sister, and she's just like in the heavy armor,
that
the maiden, and I'm just like, this is a Dark Souls character.
yeah.
So I get a lot out of that.
Her stuff is great. I think him like just before we
also
get
their
was,
mom is an amazing character with her fucking dead eye smile always.
Yeah.
Never displaying her emotions. That character is great.
Oh yeah, no. Like after
like,
we get the rest
smiling,
of
tears. I'm so sad.
No, that shit was pretty solid.
I think the thing that makes it with baseball guy for me is just like I think the physical gag bits are good of him like just eating
the
baseball, throw it at him or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that makes
like,
sense. I can see that.
The physicality of it is the physical slapstick is just good.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'd say it took me a little bit to warm up to 10.
Really?
But I got.
I mean,
got
you know what? I say really.
I mean,
like,
comparatively,
that makes sense.
I guess.
I
don't know.
See, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why I said really, because like that absolutely checks. I was, as soon as he was introduced, I'm like, great, we got an annoying baby character, and he's probably going to be the reason I drop this. And I actually found myself really liking his bits, like pretty quickly. I don't know. So that was like I was very surprised, and that's nice, obviously, because he's in it a lot. Like he shows up all the time.
Yeah.
And obviously that we're sticking like to the manga, but like the original anime like really endeared him to me, because like his voice is just like they got a perfect voice actress to do it up. It's just great. So that's nice. His mom is great though. Like that fucking arc is incredible.
Oh, it's so good. She just fucking hates fire so
pyros.
fucking much.
Her tucking him into bed like, you know what we do to pyros, right? We lynch him. He's just like sweating bullets.
Oh. Yeah. I do love Ten's refusal to admit he did anything wrong ever. He's like, I'm a good boy.
Yeah, dude, I'm a good boy. I wouldn't do that.
No, I'm a good boy.
Yeah. I think yeah, I mean, I was going to say it kind of, I don't know. It's weird because like I'm still like some of this stuff is like Are you ever gonna do the original anime? Are you gonna do that in full at some point, or are you gonna like do bits and pieces? Are we gonna have an original anime episode?
I would say I don't know.
Okay,
It's a lot.
it is a lot. I mean, I'll say, for the, if people don't know, I'm like deep into it. There's 195 episodes, 96. I got 112 episodes left, so like still a lot, but I'm gonna finish it. Like I'm that far, and I'm really liking that. I think that anime toned down 10 also being like a womanizer. Even at first, like in the manga, I think at first he's a little worse, and they're kind of setting him up to be more of that. But I think the manga maintains it slightly more, from what I remember, or possibly maintains it slightly longer. I guess might be the better phrasing.
I don't know. Like the part of that I've read that I've like the second half more recently, like they kind of dropped that bit.
Yeah,
like it's.
Yeah, no, it definitely like stops, but I think
it's mostly about him buying some fucking garbage that is like the gimmick sci-fi thing for this week or whatever.
Yeah, I mean that shit. I
like the fucking bottle or
the bottle, whatever. The things that like tell you who your future spouse is gonna be, all that shit. Yeah. Yeah. I do like moving into other womenizers. The fact that like Ataru and Mendo are the same person, like they're just pieces of shit. Mendo is good looking,
like it really hits home that Ataru and Mendo are the same person. Like the manga likes to make that very clear.
And it's so good.
Yeah.
Like every time it comes up, like with Kumara, like they're actually both like pieces of shit. She's like, yeah, but like he's good looking. Oh, it's just so great. Fucking katana.
Look, the thing is, there's just a lot of good characters in this show.
Yeah, that's like, for how many there are, they all hit. Like even there's not. Again, Ryu's dad is like aside. Like there's not any of them that I think I actively dislike. Even like our one-offs or like the kind of slightly recurring, like the little woe is me sea monster guy. Like it's all just like it's a good time.
Yeah. Ron, she's so happy sometimes.
Oh my god. Yeah, we didn't even mention her.
Yeah, her screaming, "I'm so happy," like just losing her mind because fucking Ray ate some of her food.
Oh my god!
The first time, like that just like lifts my spirit. Like it's so funny.
Yeah, no, her shit is just very good. She is
like.
Oh, go on.
Her main bit of just of like remembering some fucking petty thing loved him to her in the past and then like losing her mind in the moment.
Yeah,
like, that initial bit, that's pretty good. But honestly, it's when it's like, what does she actually want? And like what a weirdo she is that like really makes me love her.
Yeah. Well, that and like how
I love that like when you get glimpses of her as a kid, she really is just like shy and demure, but like then suffers.
Yeah,
it's like why she became this person.
Dude, and the fact that like we get so much of like she's reminding Lum
God.
about all this terrible shit or whatever, terrible.
The fucking
quotes.
peeing wedding bed story. Oh my god.
Oh my, yeah, Lum just fucking her over.
Just completely gaslighting her. Just like, but I was a child.
I forget which incident is paired with it, but when they're at the cafe and Rana's on her shit and they're like talking about all this stuff, and then Lum is like, oh my god, like this is so bad, I have to go like think about this or whatever, and she leaves and sticks around with the bill. And it's just like she's still doing shit, like kind of without even trying. Like it's so fucking good.
Well, there's so many instances of them just walking out of places without paying the bill.
Yeah.
That's an easy go-to gag. Just like these characters are so fucking self-absorbed.
She is definitely, she's definitely a character that the anime really elevated for me. I showed you the clip and I've talked about it a little, but like the first time we meet her, and yeah, she's all like shy and super sweet and has her voice. Her descending into like insanity, the voice actress fucking crushes it. And then the animation, like she gets her teeth, like her fangs, and like her mouth is impossibly huge and shit. It's just such a good descent, and the voice work is incredible. I'm like, oh, this is actually fantastic. Like she was fine in the manga for me, but then it's translated so well into motion and everything, and I'm like, this is amazing. She's great. So like retroactively too, like just shit's very good. Also that she thinks Lum is still trying to steal Ray from her when Lum's like, no thanks. Like I'm good.
I like that the story with the locket. Where we get the flashback of Lum giving it to Ray, and he just fucking eats it. And it's like, oh, like this is the point at which Lum went from liking Ray to going, this fucking idiot, this stupid cow.
Hell yeah. God.
Also, like all the bits of like how handsome he is, then cutting to him transformed into a cow with the dumbest fucking grin on his face.
Yeah.
Oh,
dude, fucking. I think it's like early on. Maybe it's like the second, because they do. Like early on, they introduce a character, and then you get a story about their introduction, and then the next thing is like a story with them, right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I want to say it was like his second one. I don't think it's where he's introduced, but he's over at Ataru's house, and Ataru's mom rolls in and sees him, and she's like all flustered, and then she comes back in and she has like makeup on and shit.
Yes.
Oh my god. That stuff was so good. I think Ataru's parents in general, I think are done a little dirty in the original anime. Not necessarily done dirty, but like they get a little less. And I think early on they had a lot more in the manga. They had like a lot more jokes and stuff, and they were showing up a little bit more. I liked it. I like some of the stuff that they had going on. Particularly, Ataru's mom being like, I should have never had a kid. Not that it's not there, but I thought that stuff was pretty funny. I guess I'm glad they like tapered out of it a little bit, but it was good.
Yeah. I don't know. They're pretty good characters. They have good bits.
Yeah.
Their house gets destroyed so many times.
Absolutely decimated.
Honestly, the one they always go back to, it really is like fucking Cherry and Sakura showing up for dinner and like saying, we only have enough food for this many people.
Yeah. Dude, the time where they're like carefully dividing the amount of like dumplings or whatever the hell it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, we each get like this many, and then and then they show up and it's all fucked.
Yeah.
how do you feel about we get like I guess like a handful, a chunk of like period pieces where it's like the characters but like in a historical setting.
Mm-hmm.
Did you like those or neutral or?
They're fine.
Mm-hmm. There was the one where they're just like constantly going to restaurants.
I
And
like it.
eating
Yeah, I
was
like
good.
it more when it is the actual characters like putting on a play or whatever,
Yeah,
rather than like
we're
telling a story about actual historical figures, but we've turned them into Urusei Yatsura characters.
Yeah, and I like when I was reading those, they didn't really hit too much, but at the same time, I was like, this just isn't a thing for me. You know, like I'm not that's not gonna hit for me because I'm not the audience here. I don't know it that well.
Yeah, they weren't bad. They were just, not my fave.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yep.
They're not Atara asking Lum to smell something and her yelling, "I'm not a dog." And then 2 pages later she's fucking biting him. That's what I live for.
Dude, every time she bites him, it's so fucking good. It's just a classic.
The panel of her yelling at him, "I'm not a dog," because he was like, "You have like smelling powers, right?"
Yeah. Man, I've read. I did do a fair bit of like reading and like looking at shit about this because I was just very enamored. Apparently the Urusei Yatsura manga is like super good for like Japanese cultural stuff. Like there's just so much shoved into it. And it makes me wonder like, there could be stuff that's going completely over my head, but there was something there was some article talking about how it was just like absolutely chock full of stuff that's like not of its time, but like it places it, but also just like very general stuff, like kind of bouncing off of the historical things, but like just woven throughout it, which is really cool. I like that. Not that it hits for me all the time because I don't know when it's hitting, but I don't know. It was a cool thing to find out. Or that Lum is apparently Rumiko Takahashi's like opposite. Like she made her just to be like, this isn't me. Like this is the opposite of me. She's confident. She's like dressing like that. Total not me. Which is funny.
Mm-hmm. Just like outside of how she has to like think about how Lum would react to this because it's not how she would react to anything.
Yeah. Just like charge it or like, dude, we get so many instances where everyone else is like losing their shit and Lum's like, yeah, it's fine. Like, oh, this is so scary. This is so like weird and did it like some of the haunted like visiting stuff that we're doing and Lum's like, that's okay. Like, aren't you scared? Isn't this place creepy? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Bopping the
Takahashi probably doesn't become drunk after eating a single pickled plum or whatever.
Dude, the plum thing. Lum, you're drunk. I'm not drunk. Fucking totally gone.
Fucking the part where she's like thinks Ataru cares more about 10 than her.
Dude, her like crying and being like, he cares more about 10. That panel is so good. God, there's so many the facial expressions and like all the it's just so fucking good. There's so many, like literally, I mean, you sent me like an unholy amount of screenshots. But like many of them were also the ones where I was like, this is incredible. Like this is too good.
I'm looking through screenshots that I took.
Hell yeah.
And from one of the historical stories, but it's just fucking 10 trying to catch Ataru fucking philandering. And he shows the picture he took of it to Lum, and it's just a picture of Cherry's face.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, that shit's great.
Fucking Mendo getting mad about being a comedic character. I'm a comedic character. How rude. God.
You've reminded
Every time
me.
like that, like characters like exist outside the panel or whatever, or like the way it plays with the form of like a yell going through someone's head, or that one time an got like shoved into
Yeah, they
that
shove
dude's
it.
mouth.
They shove it back in, and he swallows it literally.
Yeah.
Or I was actually gonna say the little arc where like Ataru is planning on giving up class president, but he doesn't like word it to anyone properly, and they think he's giving up being the main character of Urusei Yatsura.
Yeah, that shit's amazing.
That was so good.
Because that's pretty early, and it's already clear that he's not really the main character anyway.
Yeah.
Like, he's been the main character, but it's fucking Lum.
That's not
Nobody
why we're
showed
here.
up because of him.
Yeah. Dude, another thing kind of unrelated, but it's Lum. The outfits. There's so many outfits. They don't just keep her in like the same thing.
No, every time she dresses Lum up in an outfit, it's fucking fire.
It's incredible.
It's just so good.
And it's like varied and shit. Like, I mean, it's up there, you know, like Sailor Moon type shit. Like, she's just in all these different outfits.
Mm-hmm.
And on that, like, kind of in that same vein, one of the things that I really liked was, maybe it's just because I haven't, I mean, I guess watched anime. I haven't read a ton of manga in general, but for the anime that I'm watching, it either is not super slice of life like this is, or not. Normal is maybe not the right word, but like in a more normal setting, you know, like compared to something like Dragon Ball, right? But like there, you know, there's so many anime that will have like their beach episode, and I like that here we get like, or like a Christmas episode or something, and I like that here is just big enough, it went on long enough that you get like multiple stuff. Like, you don't have a beach episode, you just have like, oh, it's summertime currently, so we're gonna have a bunch of stuff like they're at the beach, they're like going to stay at like the seaside cottage or that sort of shit. And then you have like winter episodes. The fact that we get to go through those like multiple times just makes it feel, I was gonna say real,
yeah, like
not real.
4 Setsuban stories or whatever.
Yeah. And they build on it.
Yeah, I don't know. Some of those is like when we're like doing the same holiday for like the 4th time. I'm like, I see why this manga ended.
Yeah, I don't need like I finished. I'm full.
Like,
I'm stuffed.
How long have these characters been in high school?
That's fine. They got their year. It was whatever. Oh, see, I didn't.
No,
didn't
I don't care, but I just find it funny.
Yeah.
We're doing like Valentine's Day again.
Dude, I'm here for it though. That's what I want.
Taru devastated he didn't get any chocolate, while Lum is like making a thing of chocolate out of it into his face at home.
Oh my god.
But gonna surprise him with it.
Oh my god. Shit's too good. There is, I mean, it's less with,
because like I have a different take on that stuff, just because like I can only take, I love the slice of life stuff, but I can only handle so much before I need someone to fucking hit somebody.
It happens plenty of times.
So like, yeah, exactly. Like the action is like the thing, like that it does both those things is like what makes it for me.
Yeah.
Like it's not like look, if you want slice of life anime, there are plenty of slice of life anime where fucking nothing happens and I will die of boredom.
Yeah.
The thing I love about this is fucking anything can happen, but also sometimes the characters are just hanging out together.
If this, see, for me, it wouldn't be like the slice of life, the pure slice of life stuff. It'd be like I would not have gotten through 34 volumes of pure slice of life. That's too fucking much. If you're going to have like a couple and they're going to be doing their thing, you got like, I don't know how many volumes, but it's not 34. I'm not doing that. Bump it right along, please. I'm all about relationship, like that being the focal point and like navigating this and hanging out and do whatever. I've been reading like romance novels. Though they're fucking short. I'm not here for a long time. I don't need the Lord of the Rings of slice of life. Like get me through it.
Sure.
But this, yeah, because anything can happen. It's like constantly fresh. Or like when we do the different holidays and events and stuff that are repeated, like we're building on the other shit. It's not just doing the same exact thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Mostly.
Look, sometimes Lum is just suckling on a rice ball saying, I'm too serious to get caught up in their nonsense.
God.
And then sometimes she's fucking, like, blasting. She's cooking by, like, blasting a gun into a pan
yeah,
or whatever. With fucking
bazooka.
goggles on. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Her just making the spiciest fucking food of all time.
Mm.
Dude, the camping bit where Taro's like, I'm not eating that. And everyone else is like, how dare you? You're such an ass. Why wouldn't you? Then walk around just dying. Like, why didn't you tell us?
We go to an alternate universe where Taro has a mustache. God.
Is that the bunny one? That's the bunny one, right?
Yes.
What a fucking great story. How do we get Lum in a bunny costume, but like make it make sense? Oh, this, of course. So fucking good.
Taro going, I'd be okay living in a cheap one-room apartment with you, Lum, and Shinobu, and Sakura, and Ran, and Ryusuke, and Ryoko, and Benten, and Yuki. I don't need much. Call that not much.
Oh my god. It's so good, dude.
God, when Lum gets mad, it's so good.
Her
She's just like powering up.
Yeah, man. Her fucking shocking him never gets old. Though I like how they eventually start playing with it like he's like used to it. Like it doesn't hurt him as much, but when she shocks other people, they're like fucked.
Yeah. No, but and also if you notice, like he's always smiling.
Yeah.
A lot of the time. Like there's definitely a point where you're like, oh no, he's doing this because he's into it, kind of. like there's just like a point to which like hitting on chicks is like a way to make Lum mad at him, and that's like part of the fun.
Yeah. Why do you think I make the bed like garbage every day? I don't do it because I'm lazy. I go out of my way to do it poorly because I know exactly what's gonna happen.
Sure. There's also stuff of like with Lum shocking him, where I'm like, fucking Pokemon just stole a bunch of these jokes.
Elaborate.
It's like fucking, just like Pikachu shocking Ash, Brock hitting on Nurse Joy, fucking pitfall traps. Just, I don't know. There's just like low bar humor that I'm like, this is the thing that is popular. These are the elements that make a show good. I see.
Yeah.
Eating.
Eating food. Yeah.
Eating food, important part.
God. Dude, Sakura eating is still like up there as one of the best bits where she's just absolutely fucking demolishing things.
Mm-hmm.
Like
she crushes at the beauty contest, and she's like, "But I was trying to hold back." Well, she eats like 40 dishes compared to like everyone's under like 5.
It's like, yeah. She's like, I gotta pace myself. She's at like 58.
It's like bells ringing. We ran out of ingredients.
See, when she's at the eating contest, they have those things like nobody ever wins because they put the things that expand in your stomach, and she eats like 12 of them, and it doesn't matter. But then the fucking payoff after that, when she's in the pool and she sinks. Like, she still looks identical, but she just, like, fucking, the inner tube is not enough. That killed me. Like, this is, like, her eating a lot is great, but her sinking was, like, the cherry on top. Just incredible. Yeah.
One of my weirdly favorite screenshots of this comic is just a random monster just saying, "I want to hit on Lum." It's like, yes, this is the world.
This is it.
This comic exists in.
That's what happened.
That's the comic.
I mean, the comic is everybody saying
it's that, and it's Lum yelling, "I wanted to kill him with my own hands."
God, she's just so good. She's such a great character.
Honestly, reading it is like unlocking a thing, because, like, you know, having before I'd read it, I knew who fucking Lum was. Like,
sure, I recognize
she
her.
is such a popular character for, like, people to draw or whatever, or just like have an image of Lum or whatever. Like, it's just such a thing. And then I like finally reading it, I'm like, yes, I understand.
Yeah.
Lum is the best.
Yeah, dude.
She's just great.
Yeah, it's just super solid.
It's just funny, you know? It's just
It's
funny,
it's
comic.
nice. And because it's like, I guess in its favor, because it's not like pure slice of life, it's more on the gag side. Like, we don't get this shitty downturn bullshit that I'm not really here for. Like, because it's not like a straight up relationship story, right? So we don't get like the weird bullshit where someone says something and they misunderstand. We get that, but it's funny. Or something happens and it's like sweet, and then we get to the next thing.
Yeah, well, like the way I like originally was like clued in on like why this thing is good is like, oh, it's about the bit, so we can just end a story when the bit is done, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have like the requirements of drama to like say, like, fill out what happens or whatever. Like, you can just end in the middle of shit and it's fine.
Yep.
Don't worry about it.
And then
and that just means like what you're reading is just constantly worried about being good.
Yeah. Like,
the important thing is it being entertaining for this chapter. Like, this week, like, why are you going to open up this fucking, because of like how these comics came out with like serialized in a magazine. Why are you going to turn to Urusei Yatsura in that magazine and read that week's story, like, regardless of like if you've read the last one or not or whatever?
It's like all of those clickbait Superman covers, except they actually follow through.
Yeah, the good part is the comic, because it's within a fucking phone book, not just trying to sell you based on the cover.
Yeah.
Not trying to swindle your dime based on this one page that happens to be on the outside.
Lum and Itaru break up? Lum is with someone else? That's just she's just trying to make him jealous. It's the little seal monster guy. I can't believe Lum would fall for such a womanizer.
Well, kind of everyone. Every dude in the world is a womanizer, so that's not like a disqualifying factor, really. It's kind of the thing.
Man, you've leapt. I was about.
Like, who else is she gonna go out with? Fucking Mendo? That's the same thing.
I was gonna say Cherry's not, but Cherry kind of is also. And that reminded me of how great we got like a bunch in a row of like people mistaking an octopus for Cherry, or like Mendo's sister mistaking an octopus for him.
Mhm.
That shit always kills. Gets me every time.
Just fucking. But there was something near the end of the story. I was just like, "Oh my god, Mendo's sister is the fucking best," because of like the things just of like, if this happens, we'll die, and her just like leaning directly into it, or like the cursed egg, and she like,
yeah.
it's like throws it immediately. It's just like, it's so funny because of her fucking, because she doesn't get emotional or react to stuff. Like the deadpanness of which she was doing that stuff was just like hitting super hard.
Dude,
when I was like late in in my binge.
The Christmas episode where she has him climbing the tree, and at the end she just fucking detonates it. Oh my god, that panel is so good. That whole
and this like the way she uses Ataru, mostly just because Mendo hates him.
Yeah.
Like shit's, and the way Ataru is totally fine with that. Oh, it's just good. It's just good character dynamics.
Yeah, man.
The way that shit stacks up.
It's just all of it is just very solid.
Yeah.
It did kind of
Another
like
one.
it. I mean, it gave me a bit of trouble because it kind of fucked my worldview. I'd relied on like so much of the shit in here is stuff that I could just easily point to and like generalize entirely about stuff I don't like about anime or manga. And now I'm like, well, shit. Actually,
No,
this was pretty good in Urusei Yatsura, so it's not that.
Yes. No, Urusei Yatsura is actually core to what he's good about anime and manga.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, so now I had to think and
so
refine
facial
my position.
expressions and
yeah, I can't like with fully coolly. I'm like, shit, it can't be the facial expressions though. Like, I guess I could narrow it down and be like, oh, the facial expressions are fine if they're from like the 80s. That's okay, but like, it ain't that. Stupid good manga making me think. Have to fucking refine my worldview and shit. It was so easy. You could just dump on everything.
Man, when you just have wrong opinions,
Look, they're not all
so
wrong.
much easier.
Like, I don't know, Dragon Ball didn't shake me in that same way. There was stuff like, there was stuff that I disliked before Dragon Ball that is kind of similar to my knowledge that I still dislike after Dragon Ball, and I like same reason. Like,
But I'm just saying,
shit's just bad. Why is it bad? Because it just is. It's an intrinsic property of that show. IP, rather. Or One Piece. Inuyasha now we'll have to see. Like Mermaid Saga was good. Fucking Urusei Yatsura was good. The what is it?
Yeah.
Maikon. What's the one after Urusei Yatsura? Maikon something.
Meisani Koku.
Maison, Maikon, Maison. Yeah.
Because it's just, that's just
Maison
a word
and
for
Koku.
house.
Yeah, sure. That sounds really good.
That's just slice of life gag stuff. No sci-fi. That's more grounded.
Yeah, but they're adults.
Sure. Honestly, the thing that the thing that made me realize, like, oh right, Rumiko Takahashi's just fucking good was Rinde. Well, just watching that anime when I was doing like the brief anime podcast I did with Ty.
Yeah.
Just because like it wasn't like amazing or anything, but it was just fucking solid. It's just like, oh yeah, she's just fucking good at this.
Well, and we talked a little bit. I actually don't remember if it was on the podcast or if that was off the podcast, but at some point you mentioned the fact that like she doesn't have a lot of works in her like her major works on her Wikipedia page. It's a small list, but then you look and all of them got like 40 volumes. Like she just does shit that's incredibly fucking popular for the most part.
No, like, because you think Urusei Yatsura, that's like a huge thing. That's great. Then Ranma is like fucking even bigger. And then fucking Inuyasha was even more popular.
Yeah, dude. Like, it's kind of insane.
Um, yeah, I don't know. It's just good to have this one like in my pocket now. Of like, yes,
Yeah.
I've read this manga, and this thing is just good and I love it. The big thing was just like getting to that point of like, oh, I just love this.
Yeah.
Like at a deep fundamental level, I just think this is fucking great.
Yeah, man.
Uh and I kind of didn't expect to get there because Taro's a real piece of shit.
Yeah. Idiot. Dude, this is
that was my main takeaway of reading the first chapter. I was like, I wish this were about like Lum is the best, but Ataru fucking is just like the worst guy.
I'll say out of,
and she just fucking like lead into it and say like, yep, he sucks. That's the joke.
yeah. I think out of everything we've read, this is like the one that I want to get the most. Like,
Sure.
I finished this and I was like, I'm very sad that I'm not in a position to just like grab this and just have it around. Cause while I've been watching the anime, I've actually been thinking about how I might, the anime is good enough, again, the original one, that I might like the anime a little bit better. Just because the voice, like, for the most part, like, all the voice work is super good. I like the animation. Like, it really just is a good adaptation. It feels like, for the most part, they brought the manga to life in a really great way. But, like, when I just want to, I don't want to sift. You can't sift through the anime. When I want to, like, just get the story, I want to pick up the thing and get the story, you know? And also, you got the omnibus edition, right?
They're 2-in-1s. They're still just soft cover books, but it's 2 volumes per book.
What did I fucking read? I can't remember if it was the same one or not.
I mean, the scans I was reading were the same thing as the books I have.
Okay. Yeah, 2-in-1 omnibus edition with new translations.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the recent Viz. That's the recent Viz release.
Yeah,
there's not a nicer version.
Okay. I thought the one I was reading was like just physically fatter in the physical copy, but whatever.
Well, yeah, they're
really
thick
cool,
books
like,
because they're just like 2 volumes of manga stapled to each other.
Yeah.
But they're not as nice as like the Viz Bigs I have for Dragon Ball or the like.
They're not the Berserk.
The hardcover ones I have, yeah, Berserk hardcovers are huge. The Rose of Versailles hardcovers are incredibly nice,
right?
And then the Sailor Moon ones I have are also like large size books in terms of like the pages are larger than like a manga page.
Yeah,
in the standard form of manga collections or whatever.
Yeah,
they're more like standard comic book size. Closer to. I forget the label on those Sailor Moon ones.
Maybe someday. Eventually. I'll wait for this.
Now buying those fucking Ranma volumes. Dreaming.
I'll just wait until we get to Inuyasha.
Inuyasha I've watched enough of that I'm like, it's good. But I'm not like,
we'll see.
I don't think I'm gonna fall in love with Inuyasha. Inuyasha is good.
That wasn't you saying we're not.
There's just a lot of it. Well,
like
I mean, in terms of like,
before.
I'm not gonna fucking I'm not gonna buy all of Inuyasha.
You say that. You fucking say that.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
All of it's sent to you. You're just gonna have a section with all of her other stuff on your shelf and not that. Come on. I'll bankroll it.
And I don't think I'm gonna buy Rinne either.
Yeah, that one I mean, honestly, my plan was
Which again,
just-
I was just watching that anime as it was coming out for a while.
yeah.
It was good, but it wasn't like, I love this. Good.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like it still has all her good instincts on sensibilities and stuff. It just like the characters, I would say I didn't connect with as hard.
Sure. That makes sense. None of them are lum,
That's true. None of them are lum.
which is now my problem with most anime. Most anime
Sure.
tend to not have lum in them.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
Big problem.
Everybody should always be saying, "Where's Lum?" when Lum's not around. That's how that classroom works. Well, I mean, it's really only the boys. The girls don't give a shit. They're worried about where Ryunosuke is.
Yes.
All the shit with like voting is so funny. Like all the girls voting for Ryunosuke. It's very funny.
Yeah, man.
Ryunosuke's like, "I'm seen as a real girl."
Oh my god.
All the votes from girls who are in love with you. Sorry.
Close enough. Take what you can get.
But yeah, this won't be the last time we talk about Urusei Yatsura. There are the movies. There's the new anime, and
Yeah.
maybe one day I'll watch the old anime.
You need to figure that out. Otherwise, I got to talk more about it. I don't know if I'll talk a ton about it. There's more stuff to be said. Because there's the anime only episodes that you haven't seen because they're anime only.
Yeah, the judge, the
And
filler episodes.
They're pretty good. The ones I've seen so far are pretty good.
Fair. I mean, I liked the movies that were made up, so which was most of them.
Yeah, I've only
I think only the fifth one. And technically, there's a movie I haven't watched because it's the one that was like 10 years later. or
Yeah,
whatever.
and everybody was like, "We're gonna pretend this doesn't exist."
Well, it's like when you're watching the movies and then you get to the movie that's the end of the story. Like,
yeah, it's like, what are you doing?
it's like, am I gonna watch this next one like one day, but not right now?
Yeah, and I've still only done the first movie, like 15 episodes away from where the second movie falls, because I'm just doing the chronological order. I'll probably do
You're
this.
so far away of the thing where I just wanted to do. I was honestly would have been satisfied just doing the new anime and then not
We'll get
diving
there.
in on the other stuff. I think I also would have wanted to do the original movies once I watched them.
Yeah.
'Cause those are worth talking about too.
Oh yeah, and we will. I mean, even just the first movie was like fucking incredible. That was a very good time.
Well, the first one is just like the most straight.
Well,
Just this is a good Urusei Yatsura story. Like
Yeah.
they get weirdly meta with the next few.
okay.
The director of them like starts using them for doing stuff.
Well,
So they're like a whole different. They're like a whole different thing. They're
also
a whole different animal.
in regard to the new anime, they got me on a fucking timeline. That shit's coming out in January 2024.
Mm-hmm. And then it'll be out like once a week for like the next. It's because it's going to be another 23 episodes.
We'll cover it
Just such
every fucking week. No other topics. No, that could be like I don't know how we'll do that. But we're doing it though.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'll be right there.
I'm
I
all
should-
caught up on that.
I should say,
first season
I think
now.
I mentioned it before. I think
Because I realized the thing that like really got me off my ass to finish the season was I realized the season finale was the beauty
Oh hell yeah!
pigeon episode.
Did
Because I
it-
was just looking at like what. Okay, I was actually just looking up what episode it was in the original anime because I was thinking of just watching that, and then I realized, oh, I did get to this in the new anime. I just need to watch that. The 5 episodes I haven't seen.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was good.
Well, I asked because the original anime, from what I've read, had like butchered it. Like they did it
Great.
They did it real fucking dirty. Not maybe butchered is the wrong word, but like people were disappointed and are disappointed. So
Sure.
if it's good in the remake, that's fucking incredible. I have not gotten to it yet in the original.
Fucking everything is good in the remake.
Yeah.
I love the remake so much.
There's a lot good in the original. I'll say though, I think I said it before on whatever episode we recorded, but going back after reading the manga and after getting super deep into the anime, I went and watched the opening for the 2022 anime. That shit hit. I was like, oh man, I'm fucking ready for this.
Yeah.
So,
whereas the opening for the original anime is like, you didn't know what this series was yet. You misunderstood
and
fundamentally what this series is because of what the early chapters are like.
I love that song now. I mean, I've been, it's Stockholm Syndrome, as you do with anime. Yeah, no, they left it at like we're 77 episodes deep, and I'm like, I don't know if this is really the best animation. It does change.
The thing with the new anime is like 13 episodes in, you get a second opening.
Ooh.
And that one I think I'm more in love with that one.
See, there's I forget how many endings I'm on in the original. I think I've been through like 6 of them. And it's
they change the ending more often.
Yeah, and I don't know. I like all of them in their own way. There's maybe one that's a bit of I forget which one, but one of them is a bit like, eh. The thing that I wasn't expecting, they changed the, is it a bumper? The little animation that plays like before and after commercial?
The eye catch?
Yeah, eye catch. Yeah. They changed that, and it's so fucking good. It used to be like just the logo, like Bonk and Ataru on the head.
Mm-hmm.
Like the same exact way both times. And now it's like little chibi lum and like a little magician costume.
Hell yeah.
And I forget what she does on the Cut 2 commercial, but on the way back, I think she like pulls Ataru out of a hat or something. It's so fucking good. It's adorable. I was not expecting it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's a good series.
It
is just funny to think that like there was a time I was staring at the series going like, okay, at what point does this show become the show it is? Like how because like just like when I bounced off the beginning, but I'm like, but I know that it's turns into a different thing. Like when does it? But now I'm just like, yeah, no, I've just seen the whole thing. Now I just have the whole.
Yeah.
I've seen the whole arc. I know the whole how the thing changes.
It's funny that I looked at it and went, meh. Just not me. I don't think this one's for me. Meh.
You were just bad at judging what was for you.
As I still am. Fucking on a constant basis. Literally, like 90% of this. Not okay. 90% is maybe a little unfair. A large chunk of this podcast and my life in general is the little meme of the bird that doesn't want to eat the cracker, and then it takes a bite of the cracker and it loses its fucking mind because crackers are delicious. That's me. Except the bite was lum.
I'm just thinking now of the Blue Bird of Happiness with the panel. This comic brought to you in black and white.
Dude, that shit is so... Anytime they do that shit is just incredible. Such a good balance.
Anyway,
said this would be a short episode. Fucking guy. I told you.
I said it wouldn't be extra long.
What? I guess. Fine. We've done longer. That's true. It
Could have
broke.
been out of here like 15 minutes ago, but you kept talking about the anime.
Well, whatever.
Saltcirclepod
need to talk about this.
gmail.com. Saltcirclepod on Twitter. Anchor.fm. So Saltcircle. I'm on Twitter at Comic Panels. I'm just saying, we're here to talk about the manga, not some fucking anime.
Then you hit me with, I don't know if I'm going to watch it because you're a fake-ass fan. Starting with the remake.
I don't know when it's going to happen. It's just a lot.
No, it's not. Just punch it. It's like one Dragon Ball and another Namek arc. It's fine. You've already done the movies. You don't even need to do them again.
I already got the emotional catharsis I needed.
Yeah, that's also the problem.
It's like how I'd seen the last movie that was the end of the whole series story before I started the manga in earnest.
Yeah, and then I forgot about that, and I'm like, what did you think of the ending? You're like, well, it's just it's the movie. Oh,
yeah.
Right, yeah, okay.
It was the movie I watched. It was like, we have to talk about these movies. Because I think I'd watched all the movies before you fucking had even read the manga.
Yes. Yeah. No, there was a gap. There was quite the gap in there, I think. Because you were pretty hype on the new anime before I would even got
before it was out.
I mean, it was because it was Mermaid Saga that sparked me to be like, I guess I'll check her shit out. This was fire. So yeah, there was a big chunk of time in there.
Anyway, let's get out of here.
Yeah,
go do your dark business or whatever.
Jesus.